Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or should I say good afternoon. If you're hearing any music in the background, we are listening to the beautiful voice of Tony Bennett from their album that hits very close to home for me. I Left My Heart in San Francisco. He's such an incredible singer. Him, Frank Sinatra, Elvis, James Brown, all of them. Love the music from those times, and it's just can't get enough of them. If you guys think it sounds a little bit different right now, it probably is. It's for the fact that the day has come. I finally got a brand new microphone. It's a blue Ember, and I can't be more excited. But before I continue, let me just put the mic down real quick and I'll explain, because you're probably going to hear some weird noises, some unexpected noises. And I'm about to explain to you in a bit, because I got to turn down this record. It's pretty loud, and I'm pretty sure it's going to register pretty loud. I don't know. I won't find out until I start editing this. All right, give me a second. Hi, Kiwi. Kiwi's sitting right there. And I am back. So far, yeah, it's the truth. I got a blue Ember microphone, and I have it all hooked up to my Phantom Power. And the only thing I get for audio readings is through this automatic thing on my video camera, that it has a single bar, and every single time noise hits the microphone, that bar raises and lowers. It's very sensitive with very limited space. I mean, heck, this camera, I got it back in 2013, 2014. I think 2014. Yeah. It was good for its time, but it's still going strong. But that's the only thing that can actually register the readings, and I have high faith for this microphone. Reason being because not only is it a blue product, but it's also when I read the reviews, when I saw reviews on YouTube, and there's YouTubers that were reviewing microphones, a lot of them had very positive things to say about this mic, especially for being a condenser mic and everything. People are still we're saying very positive things, and I just bit the bullet. And Amazon, I think it was in episode 1 or 2, Amazon, when I brought up how Amazon does that same day delivery now and everything, or get it overnight or whatever. Yeah, I did that today. So around 8 something this morning, after my lady had left to work and I was at home, I was just looking at Amazon, and I ended up seeing it, and I realized it's payday tomorrow. I just bite the bullet and we just do it. So I ordered it, and it gave me the option of being able to get it by between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And right at 3 o'clock on the dot, showed up at my front door. Now I'm using it. I'm excited. I'm ready to see how this sounds, and I don't know how it will sound until I start editing. Main reason because, like I told you before, I don't have a very great laptop. And my speakers for my camera is really, crap. It's doo-doo. And it's just not the best. So it's just, I can take the time of, just trying to find out exactly what's happening, but I don't have that time right now, So yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, Blue Yeti, and now we're listening to some Frank Sinatra, and I'm excited to see how this audio comes out. A couple things about it though is the fact that when it arrived, it arrived with a little thing so I can screw the bottom of the microphone on there so it can be sitting pretty. And another thing was a thing so I can screw it onto my microphone stand. Two things. One, when I bought it, it recommended to get one of those podcast stands, the one that clip onto your table and just hangs, upside down if you feel like it, along with a pop filter. That was just about like $20 or $30 more, along with the microphone. Didn't go for that. Second thing, I didn't go for it because it said it came with a microphone stand thing to screw it on to hold on to it, and I have a stand. That's what I've been using it for my own mic. I'll put up the setup for my old mic, if I remember. But how do you say it? So I end up being like, no, I don't need it. Showed up, excited. The microphone is just beautiful. It's sturdy. The microphone is just incredible. I can't be any more happier with what I got so far. And how do you say it? When I screwed it on to the thing so I can screw it onto my microphone stand, I realized something. The part that's supposed to be on my stand is too narrow. So I either need to get an adapter so I can screw that adapter to my stand and then screw it onto this thing, or just go ahead and just get that podcasting arm. And I also need a thing that doesn't come with is a windsock or a pop filter, so I need to go buy that. It's about like $8, not really a big thing, but just to help provide better quality when I'm doing these videos, I'm excited to use this. I'm excited that I got it finally. So yeah, one thing I have to tell you guys, and it really bums me out. Like I really don't know how to say it, but I feel like I need to. I ran out of liquid death. I didn't buy any more, so now I'm just stuck with drinking regular water. I love regular water, but still. Also, my buddy just mentioned to me yesterday when we were gaming that he's like, dude, what is up with the ASMR drinking sounds in your podcasts? And I'm like, well, I try and step away from the mic whenever I can when I'm drinking, so it doesn't like really register. But he's like, nah, dude, that thing is like the loudest thing. So you know what? This is for you, bro. Hope you enjoyed that. No, yeah, but I gotta go get some new liquid death, really. Anyways, something exciting. So yesterday, my lady, when she came home and we had dinner and everything, logged on to Disney Plus. Because I wanted to see if we could we finished watching The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba, but I wanted to see if there was something else we could watch. Amazing thing happened. So I think it was back in 2019, was it? I think so. I'm not sure, or maybe even earlier than that. When Marvel was having their Netflix series that was loosely connected to the MCU on Netflix. I just said that. One thing that everybody knew was like, yeah, no, this is the street level heroes. This is the heroes that what they were doing while all the main things were happening in the theaters, and like with Thor and Captain America and Hulk and all of them. So I love that concept. It was a great idea. I loved it. It's like, what were the regular people doing when, the Battle of New York happened, when Sokovia happened, when everything was happening? Well, how do you call it? The shows were entertaining. My favorite by far is still Daredevil, all 3 seasons. Really angry when they canceled it, but I knew it was going to be for the better, and it is. And Punisher, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and then the Defenders all together. Well, anyways, something that I knew was with the contract between Netflix and Marvel Studios, Disney, was when their rights for the characters or to have the show with the characters expired, Marvel Studios wouldn't be able to use any of the characters for anything for 2 years, I believe. And for 2 years, those characters were essentially just on standby, in the waiting room, in limbo and everything. They were just there. Well, the day finally came, and Netflix had the shows pulled from Netflix. But prior to that, there was no more shows being made with the characters on Netflix. Fast forward 2 years later, or 3 years, I forgot, until now, And I remember Disney had advertised that now the Netflix shows are up on Disney Plus. I had completely forgot that they did that. So yesterday when I was logging in, the app asked me to verify all my information and everything, and they advertised that they're doing that because now they're including more adult oriented shows. Adult being, the Netflix shows, because the Netflix shows are very realistic, despite still being about heroes doing like above human things and all that stuff. They were still a lot more grounded in realism. Reason being because while we were in the theaters and we're watching, Thor fly around, Captain America being a super soldier, we have Hulk rampaging everywhere, super green, which by the way, the MCU really butchered Hulk. And we saw Iron Man with his suit and all this stuff. The Netflix shows were able to ground them because Daredevil, yes, the incident that happened to him as a kid had like left him blind, but just turned every other of his senses like times 10 and everything. He took a life of being a vigilante at nighttime, and he's dealing with things like human trafficking, kidnapping, drug pushing, everything like that. And it's just like, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to hear my machine in a second. Oh no, it stopped. Nice. So he's touching upon that. The show touches upon that. Season 2, when the Punisher comes in, the Punisher, we all know what he does in the comics, but in the show, it's more of a moral thing. Yes, this guy is killing criminals at such a violent level, at such how do you say it, excessive rate, insanely fast, that people in the first episode kept saying that it was an army that attacked him, an army of trained elite soldiers that started taking their crime organizations down, until later on it's revealed that no, it's not an army, it's not a militia, it's not like a group of highly trained soldiers or anything. It's one man. One man is absolutely demolishing your crime syndicates, your gangs, your cartels, everything. And how do you say it? Yeah, it's insane. But the show really not only introduced Frank and why he does what he does, his background, yada yada yada. It also, like I said earlier, really touches upon the thing of morality, because it got to the point where even Daredevil, despite trying to stop him at the beginning of season 2, later on started being like, look, man, there might be something to the way you do things. There might be a reason as to why you are able to just do it, and it just works despite not being conventional means. And it's great because that's still something that in real life, that type of conflict still works. It may not work. That type of conflict exists at every turn, at every corner. You like, for instance, I got my lady into Narcos. All right. For those who haven't seen Narcos, watch it. It is insanely good with Pablo Escobar and everything like that. My lady got into watching it on season 2 with me, and she just instantly fell in love with the show. The thing about Narco is there's this character called Javi, short for Javier, and he has been working with the DEA and all them to take down Pablo Escobar, because back in the 80s and everything, cocaine was just huge. I know these words are probably gonna get me kind of with YouTube, but I just gotta say it. Cocaine was huge back in the 80s, and Pablo Escobar's cartel was really pushing it to its limits and beyond, and it started getting into the United States, because at that point the United States drugs was mainly like weed. I mean, like, yeah, hardcore drugs existed in the US at that point, but it was becoming very prominent with Pablo Escobar in the picture. And one of the things is, one of the DEA agents, Javier, he wanted to take down Pablo as much as possible, take him down, by any legal means and everything. Well, anyways, at some point, he realized that it was gonna take more than legal means to take down somebody like Pablo Escobar, somebody with that type of like security, bodyguards. He was basically had his own little private military just taking care of him and his family 24/7. It was gonna, and he had the upper hand on the local law enforcement and military in all Bolivia. Oh no, not Bolivia. Colombia. I keep saying Bolivia because I like me and my buddy play Wildlands. Also, we're very similar, talking about the cartel, the Santa Blanca cartel and everything. And it takes place in Bolivia, but the show takes place in Colombia. So, anyways, what it was as how do you say it? Javi, at one point when he was talking to one of the guys he knew at a bar and everything when he wasn't on the clock, they were telling him, hey, listen, if you need information, if you need anything to take down Pablo, to get close to taking down Pablo, I can help you, but you got to be cool with it. Well, anyways, long story short, Javi ended up recruiting them for help, but in the shadows though. He didn't want his name tied in with them. They ended up forming this group called Los Pepes, along with this group of guerrillas in the jungle who hate communists and everything, because Pablo, in one of his major attacks, solicited the help of communists. And that's why Los Guerrillas, when they saw their father killed by the hands of those communists, they swore to destroy every single one of them. Anyways, they formed a group called Los Pepes, dedicated to taking down communism and Pablo Escobar. And the way they were yielding results or gaining results was through very, very unconventional and illegal means. And how do you say it? The guy Javier, he knew what was going on, and he was the reason why they were doing that stuff. And it gained news, international news, all over the Americas and everything. And how do you say it? It was they were really, really backing Pablo to a corner. And it was such an incredible show, but it also showed the fact that you can be somebody who wants to stay morally correct, on the right side of the law, do everything to show that the law works. And that's one of my favorite lines of season 2 of Daredevil. But sometimes you just got to realize, or what characters realize in TV shows, movies, and even people in real life realize, is if you want something for the better of you, your family, your friends, your fellow man, your city, county, state, country, some people feel and truly believe that sometimes you got to get down and dirty with the person you're against, get to their level, to really hit him where it hurts. And Daredevil got to that point in season 2, but when he was bringing it up to the Punisher is like, you take that step and there's truly no going back. And it was just great, because in the end of the day, the Punisher and Daredevil weren't enemies. They both wanted crime to end. They both wanted, well, how do you say it? The ultimate goal, the ultimate outcome was for crime to end, to not be a thing anymore. But the Punisher was motivated through the loss of his family and revenge, while Daredevil was motivated through this is the right thing to do, But how do you say it? The reason I say what I said earlier was one of my favorite lines is because when one of the cops showed up and they were gonna arrest Punisher and everything like that, they were actually gonna, how do you say it? Well, not they were gonna. Daredevil told him, he was like, hey, take the collar. And it was like, this is your bust and everything. It was like, the world needs to know that the system works, that we don't need to rely on vigilantes, people who operate outside of the law in order to keep them safe. They need to know that the justice system that are sworn to protect them works. And it was a powerful show, and it's a powerful season, and that's why the Netflix shows are my favorite, and that's why Daredevil's show is my favorite, and which is the more reason why I'm stoked for the fact that the show is is now available on Disney Plus. And a lot of people were saying, yeah, it's supposed to be connected to the MCU. It's supposed to be connected to the MCU, even though none of the shows that were on Netflix for Marvel Studios ever like mentioned any of the characters by name. They were all like, no, they're supposed to be the MCU. Then there was a rumor saying, oh no, you know what? No, they're not going to do it, because I think they retconned Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which sucked, because season 4 being their best season, mainly because of Ghost Rider, I was excited, but I think they retconned Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I thought they were going to do the same thing for the Netflix series. No, I was very happy to see that they did it for the Netflix, because we know two things. One, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Spider-Man No Way Home, the theories of people were semi-correct. The reason I say semi is because they were correct about an appearance, but they were incorrect on where they thought it was going to happen. It was Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox's Daredevil. He made an appearance, only as Matt, though, as giving legal consultation to Peter and Happy and Aunt May and all them. But it was still amazing. It happened like within the first 10 minutes. Excuse me. Within the first 10 minutes of the film, and he was only on screen for like 3 to 5 minutes. But they ended it on such a zinger, you know. It was amazing. The fact that it was just going to be an exchange of words, just a legal consultation. That was it. And then the very last second, when someone throws a brick through the window, and boom, Matt catches it. And everybody's like, whoa, how'd you do that and everything? And it just shows that this isn't just a Matt Murdock. You know, this isn't just a different universe Matt Murdock. No, this is Matt Murdock, the Daredevil from the series. Same actor, same everything. And to only further reinforce that the Netflix series is canon in the MCU is that in the end of Hawkeye, which, you know, should have just been called Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, because, you know, he was barely in it like she was. The ending, the very last, second to last for probably 2 seconds, showed a picture of a freeze frame of the Kingpin. Yeah. And then he showed up in the very last episode as a conclusion. And it's just like, it's fun. It's insanely exciting and everything. But I do have my quarrels, or is that a correct for? No. Let me just stop trying to talk fancy. I have my little issues with them. Mainly for the fact that, I mean, No Way Home did it perfectly. I love the way that they only had Charlie Cox in there for about 5 minutes, and they did just a quick little thing that meant so much, even though it lasted half a second. And it was great. It was great fan service done right, in my opinion. The thing that I didn't like about, you know, the ending of Hawkeye was the fact that it was a great thing that they showed that the Kingpin was the same one that faced off against Daredevil, and now he's in Hawkeye. But I didn't really like how they took care of it in the last episode. When I was watching it and I saw the Kingpin basically trying to be formal, like, Vanessa. No, she's not even there at that point. But trying to be formal still and everything like that. It was, I couldn't take him as seriously. I feel like the huge reason was because the show in Hawkeye was supposed to be taken around Christmas time, like towards the second half of December or something like that. And of course, there's going to be Christmas lights, trees, holidays, everything's cheery and white and red and green and everything like that. And it's it was hard seeing him in that environment, especially seeing him with just a gradient of green and yellow and black in all of Daredevil, where we only saw him. And at the end, even though he was trying to deliver his lines the same way the Kingpin did in Daredevil, I knew that he couldn't commit fully all the way, mainly because this is Hawkeye. Hawkeye appeared in the movies. Hawkeye is supposed to be a serious character, yet, he's supposed to be lighthearted the way the Disney and the Marvel Studios wants him to be. And you can't really take a hero like that and put him against somebody who has who has appeared in such dark storylines like in Daredevil. It's difficult. Now, I truly 100% believe that if Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye was put in the same exact tone, in the same exact environments as Daredevil and Kingpin and Hell's Kitchen and everything, with the lighting, with the tones, with the way things work, he would fit perfectly. He would fit amazing. Because, I mean, in the end of the day, Hawkeye, he's not just an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's a weapon. That's what he is, And do you think somebody who's been in his line of work his entire life is afraid of getting dirty? No, of course not. But they had, instead of bringing him down to that dark tone, they had to bring the Kingpin up to that lighter tone, which is why the end scene, when it was the final fight with Kingpin, I was, very disappointed the fact that it wasn't Hawkeye fighting Kingpin. No, it was Kate Bishop. She was fighting Kingpin. I get it. She did martial arts growing up. And she did archery. But in the end of the day, the Kingpin has fought people like that. And he has worked them. And he was working them. Like, look at Matt. Matt almost did the same exact thing as Kate, except he had also the advantage of having heightened senses. He also had the advantage of stealth, of power, of speed, of strength, of skill, everything like that. Yet, even Kingpin and him at the final season of 3 were just working each other. And, Kate, barely anything. All her arrows, all her flips and everything. It reminded me of Bane from Batman, Arkham Asylum. How Bane is supposed to be this highly intelligent man from South America who is insanely strong, who takes the Venom formula and everything. And he himself was able to locate Batman, exactly where Batman was, by just studying Batman and knowing that Batman is Bruce Wayne. And he went into the Batcave, didn't trip any alarms, fought Batman one-on-one and snapped his back. Famous storyline, And in Arkham Asylum, they just treated Bane like a mindless brute, like any other Titan roided out person. They just treated him like a brute, and that was it. And it sucked, and I hated it. I mean, they did justice to him in Arkham Origins, even though people talk a lot of crap about that game. I still love it. It's still one of my favorites. But they did him justice in Arkham Origins. And that's the same way I felt about Kingpin. Kingpin, if you remember in season 1, Kingpin literally took a man out of his seat in the car and just started beating that man so bad that he just propped his head at the end of the fight against the door of the SUV and just kept slamming the door over and over and over into that guy, to the point of decapitating him. And it's like, that was the Kingpin. That was furious. That was a powerhouse. That was intelligent, cunning, skillful, powerful. And then now we were basically treated to a Kingpin that fought like a gorilla. It kind of disappointed me, but in the end of it all, I'm just really excited that those characters are part of the Marvel universe, and I hope that Disney being like, listen, this streaming service is gonna feature some of our very more mature oriented shows. I'm hoping that how do you say it? They see the potential in what they have. You know, Daredevil was very, very well received, and I know the Punisher season 2 when I watched it. I didn't like it as much as I thought I should have, but what I know is at the end of season 2, it basically showed us that all the things Frank Castle was struggling with when it came down to this very, very, very lengthy storyline, all of that was done. It was concluded. And now we were given the Frank Castle who was just going out there and just stopping, gangs, crimes, his style. And I loved how he donned the skull on his chest again at the end of season 2. But then he got canceled. The show got canceled from Netflix. And that was it. We were left with that. We finally got to see the Frank Castle Punisher that we wanted. And it's gone. And it just never developed. And I hope they develop it. I'm pretty sure they will, because in the end of the day, there's a fan base there. There's people who will buy the merch. There are people who will cosplay. There's people that will literally do anything that they can in order to make sure that those shows thrive. Me being one of them. I love it. I love it a lot. Other than that, we watched this movie called Turning Red. It was a movie about a girl turning into a red panda. Red pandas are cute in real life. Really, they are. They're insanely cute. But we watched this show called Agretzko on Netflix. If you guys ever watched that, it's funny because it's made by the same people from Sanrio, the ones who make Hello Kitty. But Agretzko, it's incredibly funny because it's just really just about a red panda, like female red panda, just going around working financial department in a company, in a building, in an office, work life, yada yada, all this stress. And the way she de-stresses is by going to a karaoke place, and she has one of the most killer death metal vocals I have heard, and it's so entertaining in the show, and it's funny, and it's really funny, and it has this funny little side stories and dramas and hilarity and like I rewatched I think the end of the third season, and I don't remember, I didn't remember, excuse me, how the ending of the third season happened, because I watched it but I forgot, and I rewatched it, and it really shocked me how real that show got for a moment there. Like, that stuff happens in real life. There are people exactly like that, and that show just put it out there, and it's like it really shifted the tone, and it threw me for a loop, and I was like, oh my god, but the show is incredible. I recommend watching it, Agretzko, in Netflix. Anyways, the reason I brought that up is because Agretzko, as they call her in the show, is a red panda. And the movie is about a red panda. Well, not about a red panda, but about a family who was living in Canada. And this girl has come to age. But instead of the usual thing females do when they come of age, she turns into a red panda. And it explains as to why and what goes on, everything, but it turned out to be a pretty funny movie, and I liked it. I mean, like, my own rating scale, and this is just me starting it this second, I would say I would give it a solid 6.5, leaning towards the 7 out of 10. And the reason is because even though I did enjoy it, even though I didn't like watching it, the main reason I watched it was because my lady wanted to watch it, and because originally with the advertisement, with everything, it just never really interested me. I didn't know what it was about, but it just never really interested me. Watching it, it was fun and everything like that. The animation style was different from your typical Pixar film. I don't know if that's the direction Pixar's headed now or anything like that, but it is very, very different. It took some time for me to really get used to it. On top of that, it's me being a guy, understanding the what turning into a red panda was supposed to mean and everything like that, for real life situations. It not how do you say it? It just didn't interest me like that. I like the red pandas and I like the friends. They were funny and everything like that. It's just that topic just didn't interest me. It really didn't. But that was my personal take. But still, I say give it a shot at least once with your family, with your girl, whatever. Speaking on the topic of Disney Plus, March 30th, 2022, the day is finally going to be here in 7 days, in 1 week. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Moon Knight. Yes, I know. I covered this in the very first episode. You already know my gripe. Well, not my gripe, but my history with that character and my dreams and how they were just crushed because of my own dummy self. So yeah, Moon Knight is coming out. This is real. This is really happening. And how do you say it? I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, Character is incredible. Character is fun. And my coworkers right now, well, one of them in the morning time, he's barely finding out about Moon Knight because of all the advertisements. He thought it was a movie. No, it's a show. I told him because he didn't think it was a show. I said, yeah, it's a show. The reason it's a smarter choice to make Moon Knight a show is because Moon Knight is one of the most complicated characters you can ever read about, you can ever listen about, or you could ever see, with his history, mainly mental and everything. You have to explain to them as to who he is, who's Mark Spector, who's Jake Lockley, who's Mr. Knight, who's Moon Knight, who's Khonshu. How did he get to that point? Why is his theme centered around the moon? Why does his Moon Knight outfit look like a mummy? You have to know how to explain all these characters. Well, all these why, And it's something that it's so complicated. It's so sensitive in details that you need to be able to show your audience like gradually, You can't just all stuff it in a 2-hour movie, maybe a 3-hour movie. No, it's a character best suited for shows. And once you establish that character, once you establish their history, their relations, who they are, what they do, and everything like that, after all that is said and done, then put that character to have their own movie, Make because movies just have a higher budget. And if you take an established character, give them their own movie, you can put in more, how do you say it? More guest appearances, more villains, crazier situations. Like, look at the end of Shang-Chi, Look at the end of that movie. By the way, my lady ended up liking that movie. She could not believe that it was actually a comic book movie. She just really liked it. Anyways, look at Shang-Chi. So Shang-Chi, the movie started off, the background of his dad and the rings, and how do you call it? It went up to how the dad met the mom and how Shang-Chi and his sister were born. Anyways, the opening of the movie went for Shang-Chi being like 25 or something. And he's in SF. He's living in SF, San Francisco. I recognized everywhere they went and realized that the bus that they took, that was not the correct route. They were heading towards downtown SF, but they ended up at Ghirardelli Square, but it's weird. Anyways, it started off in San Francisco. Nothing super crazy except for Machete Man and everything. Then at the end of the movie, they're in this fictional world with these fictional creatures, and you have a dragon emerging from the sea, flying around. You're having this demon-looking character coming out of the cave, and you're just flying around with these mythical creatures. And it was a big jump from doing valet service in San Francisco to being on top of a dragon. And I know that can happen with Moon Knight and everything. And remember when I was speaking about earlier the potential of having more mature type of content for Disney and how that would be beneficial for them? I feel like Moon Knight has to be that step. Moon Knight has to be that character that they use to transition from purely kid friendly, family oriented characters and superheroes to a more like, hey, heroes can get dark. Heroes can get very, 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 very dark. And that's just how it goes, because Moon Knight is that type of character. You know, Moon Knight, like, there's panels of him just being edgy, you know, but Moon Knight is a dark character. Moon Knight is not just battling his own psychosis or anything like that in his mind with 4 other alternate personas or anything. Moon Knight is just brutal. Moon Knight is just like borderline insane, to the point like you think the Punisher's bad and everything. At least the Punisher will go out there and just, you know, kill people and everything. Moon Knight will toy with them. Moon Knight would be brutal with them. Do you know that Moon Knight has brass knuckles with spikes on them, and he will not hold back his punches? You know? Another thing is, Moon Knight, when he catches a criminal on the act and he doesn't kill the criminal, he will take one of his crescents and he will carve a crescent moon on their forehead. And every single time he catches that person that already has a scar in the form of a crescent moon on their forehead, he catches them again, he will take them down, beat the absolute hell out of them, and just put another crescent moon on their foreheads. And he will do it again and again. And all these people, if you're walking around and you see somebody with a crescent shaped scar on their forehead, you know that person was doing something they shouldn't have been doing. And you know Moon Knight got to them. Honestly, I applaud those who got more than one. Because honestly, if I was dumb enough to do anything that warranted Moon Knight to come to me and he did that, I'd be like, I'm done. You know, like, I'm just done. He does that. Bushman, the man who betrayed him in Egypt, you know, turned into one of his nemesis. There's this comic panel, and I showed this on my comic channel, which I will get to in a second. There's a comic panel where Moon Knight and him are fighting, and they're having a brutal fight. And I think Moon Knight has I don't remember. I got to reread it. I think his legs are either dislocated or broken, or he did that to Bushman. That Moon Knight crawls to him. Moon Knight crawls to Bushman while Bushman is trying to recover, laying down on the floor. Moon Knight crawls to him, gets on top, gets his crescent, and he starts carving Bushman's face off. Like, while he's still alive, while he's still conscious and very much aware of what he's feeling, he starts carving Bushman's face off. And he like holds it up and dedicates that carving of the face to the moon god Khonshu, you know, Egyptian moon god. And that's not the only panel that does that. You know, in my channel, I touched upon the fact that Taskmaster, you know, not that abomination that came out in the Black Widow movie, but Taskmaster, in the comics, he has the ability to almost instantaneously copy people's fighting styles perfectly. Just absolute perfect. The only one he wasn't able to copy was Deadpool. But that was because Deadpool is so unpredictable in his own mind that not even Deadpool knows what he's doing. And that is the only character that he has not been able to copy. Ever. Ever. That was until he met Moon Knight. Because Moon Knight would rather take a hit instead of blocking it. Why? What's the reason? Because if Moon Knight blocks, that could have just been another movement to hit his opponent. So instead of moving to block, he moves to hit, and he doesn't care if you're hitting him. He doesn't care if you're beating him. He will continue to fight you. And Taskmaster wasn't up for that. He was just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's insane, you know? which led to Moon Knight absolutely owning Taskmaster. Anyways, the reason I brought that up is because, like I said earlier, the whole mature content is because there's graphic scenes, there's graphic panels, there's insane situations that Moon Knight himself causes that, how do you say it? How do you say it? See, I hate losing my thing mid-sentence. There's a situation that Moon Knight causes that is just not suitable for younger audiences to view if their parents don't like them viewing that much of stuff. If you want the real, true Moon Knight experience, you need to explore those moments to show exactly the state of mind that Mark Spector is in when he's Mark Spector, when he's Jake Lockley, when he's Mr. Knight, when he's Moon Knight, and everything, because they're all different. So, how do you say it? That's my whole idea of Moon Knight. I'm excited. I'm really excited. And here's the thing: when Moon Knight drops, and I'm telling you this right now, when Moon Knight drops, I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be watching it so close, in detail, everything. I might even stay up until so I can watch it as soon as it drops. As soon as Moon Knight drops, I'm going to be making a video about it, talking about it, maybe sharing stills, yada yada. I'm not going to be those people that I was ranting about a few episodes back that put spoilers on the titles or in the thumbnails. No, I'm not going to do that jerk stuff. But I'm not going to put it on here. No, I'm going to put it on my comic channel. I'm reviving it after 5.5 years. I am reviving my channel. Well, it's almost going to be 6 years for my comics. And that is literally going to be the perfect thing to come back to. Because my last video for that thing was me talking about Moon Knight when I was 22. Now, 28, I'm be coming back talking about Moon Knight. You know? And I know I said 5 years since my last video, but that was because I made that video back in May of 2016, and it hasn't been May of 2022 yet. So yeah, it's still 5 years, almost 6 though. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And I can't think of a better way to come back to what I used to do for that channel than, you know, doing that. I was thinking about resurrecting my music channel too, but I don't have any instruments, so I might just do vocals. But that's just a thing I'm that's just a thing I'm just you know, dabbling in my mind right now. Anyways, switching up the topic. This is what I heard today. I don't know if anybody else has heard about this. There's this company. I think they used to be based out of back in my hometown of San Francisco. Artesian Builds. I think so. I think that's what their company name is. If you're not familiar with them, that's okay. I don't think anybody was really familiar with them until this controversy hit. Artesian Builds. I think it was either 2 months ago or just a few weeks ago. Artesian Builds is a company that does customize PCs. PCs. Builds and everything like that. And it's primarily for streamers and gamers and all this sorts. Anyways, I guess Artesian Builds had this thing going on with their company with ambassadors. And the way the ambassadors work was I think they got to pay kind of like a membership for it. But they get merch from Artesian Builds. Artesian Builds advertises on their streams. That's part of their agreement, I believe. And ambassadors can be put into raffles or raffles basically to win free customized PC builds. You know, pretty decent, you know, not too bad. And on top of that, Artesian Builds, you know, shouts the streamers out, the ambassadors out. So it shows that those streamers, those ambassadors get a bigger following. You know, so you get the numbers, eventually you get the revenue, and they get the revenue from advertising to your fans. Anyways, so I guess they were doing a live stream of this raffle giveaway for, oh, sorry, I kicked my table. This raffle giveaway. And how do you say it? I think they did a virtual dice roll on their computer, and it landed into one of these ambassadors. Give me a second. Some more drinking ASMR. There we go. My buddy just messaged me right now. That's the funny part. Once I did that, because he's the one that's complaining about my drinking ASMR. Let me just do this. Finishing podcasting. Fucking, let me, dummy. What do you call it? All right, sent the message. He wants to play video games. We haven't played all day, really. I've just been lazy. Anyways, so they rolled this virtual dice, I think, and one of their ambassador names popped up as the winner of the customized free PC build. So here's the thing. If one of your if your rules was to, hey, sign up, we'll be put in a raffle. If you win, you get this free PC build and everything like that. If that's the only rules, then it's pretty straightforward. Well, those were the rules from what I'm hearing. And this ambassador, this streamer, she got picked. The thing is, the CEO of the company, he looked at her profile. He looked at her numbers and everything like that. Excuse me. And he didn't like her numbers. He didn't like her subscriber count. You know, she had 2,000 subscribers at the time. And he looked at that. And here's the thing. You can see when somebody's actively trying to think of a lie in their head to make sure that it makes sense, or make sure that they believe it makes sense. Because he was just putting her subscriber count on blast. He was like, yeah, no, your 2,000 subscribers or fans are not up to the level that I'm expecting. Yeah, that's really nothing. No, it's just, look at all these stuff. They're not even clicking on your things, yada, yada. And you would think, oh, she got bots. She bought views. No, those were legitimate 2,000 subscribers to her, to her Twitch, to her streaming and everything. And he was like, yeah, no, that's not acceptable. Well, anyways, he was trying to make up a lie, obviously, because instead of talking, like, listen to how I'm talking. I'm talking to you normal. Yeah, I take a little bit of breaks here and there, but in the end of the day, if I know what I'm about to say and how I'm going to say it, I'm going to go in a continuous type of way. You know, I kind of broke up a little bit there, but I'm going to continue talking to you like that just because I know what I'm talking about. But when I'm trying to run something and somebody legitimately, you know, participates, legitimately wins or whatever like that, and I just don't like that person, or for whatever reason, and I have no excuse to not give them the stuff that they won, I'm going to try and make up a reason as to why they didn't win. So here I am talking just very smoothly, concise, precision, yada, yada, yada. And then here I am, you know, because they don't have enough subscribers due to their agreements and, you know, just giveaways for the ambassadors, and just that's you know, you see how I'm not telling you anything while continuously talking and breaking up and slowing down. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. If you guys want to build up, I mean, search up Artesian Builds, ARTESIAN builds and everything. Just put in controversy. You're gonna see it all. It's gonna have a lot more details for you there and everything, you know. Well, anyways, as you expect, they went viral for the wrong reasons. Their video started blowing up and being reposted everywhere because they were like, hey, you know what? She participated, won fair and square, and for some dumb reason, you guys are not giving her what you guys said you were going to give her, or whoever won the raffle and everything for the free PC build. And how do you say it? More people started speaking out. Yeah, their stuff are cheap. Their stuff aren't really well built. Yada, yada. They just look nice. That's really about it. And all. And yeah, so that's exactly what happened. Well, anyways, let's say that one moment, and by the CEO no less of Artesian Builds, just sealed the deal in the company going downhill from then. It got to the point where they got so much bad publicity compared to the only little good publicity that they built up for themselves, and that they ended up having to file for bankruptcy. I heard the CEO had fired everybody at that point. I mean, makes sense. You can't pay them anymore. Nobody is buying your stuff. People are assuming are boycotting your products. It's embarrassing to see that so many people saw exactly what you did and what you said and your position from the company, and are just unanimously not like messing with your stuff. So they filed for bankruptcy, and their Instagram page is still up, but they haven't uploaded anything to Instagram since February. And if you look back, even at their earlier posts, you just see people on the comments. This is how you know not many people knew them, because how do you say it? If you look back at their earlier stuff barely has any likes, barely has any comments. But the comments that they do have now are like 90% talking about what the CEO did of recent. And they haven't uploaded since February, and that's how you know the company is just done. And from what I've seen is the company reached out to her, to the girl who won, and then she was rejected by the CEO. The company reached out to her, and they were like, "Hey, listen, we want to give you a PC. Please just let us know and everything like that. We want to send you a free PC." She declined. She was like, "No, thank you. Taking me off your ambassador list." And yeah, that was the end of that company. And it actually worked in her favor, although not by the means they thought it was. But because of that controversy and becoming as big as it did, a lot more people flocked to that streamer's channel in support. She now has, I think, over 20,000, I think. Yeah, like over 20,000 subscribers to her streams. And on top of that, I think Keemstar, I forgot who, built her a PC even better than the one she was going to win. So it's like, I don't personally follow her stream, but honestly, it's like, good for you. Good for you. You were wronged, but they basically shot themselves in the foot live, and that got blown up, and now they're not here. They're done. They're gone. But yeah, no, that was insane. I was just like, imagine that. Imagine that. That's insane. That's truly insane. I don't know if I was ever a CEO in a company and I knew I was being live streamed or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I promised you something, and if you want it, you're gonna have to get it. You're gonna have to get what you want. And I cannot believe the embarrassment he must feel. I know he posted up an apology video of everything. I didn't see it in full, honestly, because they deleted it. But yeah. Anyways, on a side note, a couple days ago, a couple months ago, my lady brought home frozen box of White Castle sliders from the grocery store, and I never had a White Castle. I've always seen it, always wanted to try it, but never had it. She microwaved them, and I was like, man, that little sliver of meat, paper thin, and some bread, how's that gonna be any filling or any good? After she microwaved them and just put it in front of me, I let it cool down a little bit. I bit into one, and oh my god, they're incredible. Oh my god, I love them. For reals, I really love them. And it just makes me want to just go to a White Castle now. So one day in the future, I'm going to go to a White Castle, and I'm just going to indulge on their little mini sliders or burgers, whatever you call them. What's the difference between a slider and a burger? It's the size. It's really about it. But yeah. So that's honestly everything I wanted to touch upon today. Things that I've been thinking about recent. And in the end, I'm just very, very excited about my new Blue Ember microphone. Again, I might be using this for a while. I might try and make changes so the sound quality around me is a lot better. And hopefully one day I get a dynamic mic and a better place to do a podcast. Well, thanks guys for tuning. Oh, I can't even speak. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Mind of Mando. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll just drop my comic channel in the link. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Mind of Mondo. I was your host, Armando Ortega Leon, and hope you guys have a great day. See ya.